And he set up with the Republican Party some, um, I guess we could call them guidelines of what to do to keep the power, to do all of this stuff. And, um, and they're still out there. And that changed even the Republican Party to be more, I don't know, more able to get what they want, I guess.
Yeah, and maybe more power oriented rather than what the people need.
Well, but it always has been power oriented. But more strategies.
But it sounds like you see quite a difference in some presidents'
Yeah.
approach, where
Yeah.
some you feel like it sounds to me like more in it for their power to meet their own agenda for
right.
their party
And
versus
Nixon was one of those.
some of those earlier
Lyndon Johnson
presidents
was
that
too.
really cared about people
Yeah.
and had compassion and even
Well-
went against their family of money the way
Yeah.
they saw fit.
And still, with all
to
that,
improve
Lyndon
things.
Johnson did a good job. But why on earth did he get into the Vietnam War? That's just been the
So
duh. You know.
So why do you oppose the Vietnam, or why did you oppose the
It was
Vietnam
a
War
useless.
so much?
There was nothing. We had no business being in there, and it was okay. There are ways to fight wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first and second war, first war was still the old platoon, and you go, right? Even though they were in trenches,
Mm-hmm.
it was still an advance, you know. The Second World War in Europe was that way, but in the islands, in the Pacific, it was an insertion. They had to go in, right, in among, and Vietnam was an insertion war. And I don't think we really knew how to fight insertion wars. I don't think, they got rid of MacArthur, but he wasn't a great general anyway, but, I mean, he was a power man. And I guess they have to be if they're that way, but... so, Vietnam was truly an insertion war, and I don't think we really knew how to do an insertion war very well. Our generals didn't. And we had no business being there. It was a French, that had been French Indochina, right? And then they had been given, they either fought for it, there was a French Indochina war, and they had sort of won their freedom, and then the communists came down. And because we had stopped them in Korea, right, and that needed to be done, that was the excuse for trying to stop them in Vietnam, and there wasn't any way we could. You couldn't tell. In Korea, it was still a platoon war. There was still, but you didn't know where anybody was or where they came from in Vietnam. They didn't know anything about the people they were fighting or the people who were with them. They didn't know which side, and that could change overnight anyway. With hostages, and they would come and take hostages from a family, and then that guy would turn, of course. Things like that. It was a terrible, and didn't gain anything, and then left probably close to 100,000 people at the mercy of the Viet Cong. Didn't get them out, the ones who had helped, and they were all massacred. It was terrible. And I feel the same way about these wars, I'm old, I guess, but at least with this war, these wars, they're recognizing what it's doing to the people who are fighting in them, which is really the first time in our history that they've done that. They called it, what did they call it?
Post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, but before that
facing
they
it?
called it very derogatory names in the First World War and in the Second World War. And it was like, they couldn't take it. You know, that was the message. They couldn't take it. Well, in this war, nobody can take what they're doing. I mean, no, that's what war is. It's hell, truly is hell. And unless there's something wrong, then people can't stand what they have to do and what they see done.
Yeah.
So, I am not a fan of the Bushes. Jimmy Carter had a good chance. He was too too smart, I think. I mean, he didn't come down enough to the common life enough. He was not that he was an elitist. It was just that he wanted to solve all the problems intellectually, and you couldn't do that. Bill Clinton, it's too bad he was such a dog, because I think he was really had the most potential. I think he really did have a lot of potential. But he was a dog. So, I think Obama has done a lot of good, but I think he's been too scattered. I think he wanted, wanted to take care of everything, which he kind of had to do to establish himself to some extent, but I think he scattered himself. And then, I don't know.
Well,
I think we'll probably get in the Republican next time. I don't think people are going to vote for Hillary. And I don't see anybody out there I want to vote for at this point.
When was the first time you voted, Grandma?
As soon as I was 21.
Yeah. Was that the voting age?
Mm-hmm.
It was 21 then?
And then it went down to 18 later.
Yeah. Okay.
So...
That's okay.